Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing Arabian Nights, a mini-series that was made and released in 2000.
Yeah, it was a two-part miniseries done by Hallmark Entertainment. And Hallmark is, what do you call it? I'd say it's a rather good production company. It does a lot of telemovies and stuff. And, yeah.
And it's made also by Jim Henson's crowd.
Well, Jim Henson was involved in it. I don't think it was actually made by them, but I think they were involved in some of the some of the parts of production. Yes.
Don't get me wrong, guys. This is a live. It has humans in it.
It's all human beings.
Yeah, no puppeteering.
But there is a genie and a few things there, and I think that's probably where the Jim Henson stuff came in. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yes. So there's no puppeteering, just so you know.
No, Sweetums isn't there, and Dr. Teeth isn't there, and Animal's not there.
No, Kermit the Frog is there.
No, Miss Piggy. Oh, what a shame. Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if they actually did Arabian Nights using the Muppets? Now, wouldn't that be something, folks, eh?
Maybe they're in development process by now.
I hope not. No, yeah, it'd be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But I think it would probably go directly to video or onto television.
Yeah, Netflix or something or other.
Something.
Whatever.
I like to think. Anyway, let's get on to the story.
Wait a minute. Produced by blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
let's
get on to who stars, directs, and writes it.
I'll give some recognition where it's due. Now, produced by Dyson Lovell. Now, obviously, he probably works for HBO or something or other. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, directed by Steve Barron. And screenplay was by Peter Barnes. Obviously, he's adapted the Arabian Nights tales, so it's more of an adaptation, I would say, than actually a screenplay. But as it opens up and everything, Sarah's going to tell you a story, but it's pretty much a series of stories within a story.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah, last night me and Mike were talking about it, and we were trying to work out whether this was another anthology movie.
I mean, these sort of stories within stories aren't necessarily anthologies, so but because they're it's an easy word to throw around, so I wouldn't actually call this an anthology.
I suppose not.
But anyway, I won't go through everybody in the movie.
Which is
there's
too
lots
many.
of people, but I'll give you the main stars. So, what we have here is Millie Avatar plays Shahrazad, and she plays mighty fine roles. He's very good, actually. And Doug Ray Scott, he plays Sharia, I think, is the sultan to whose story this is all running around, which Sarah will talk to you about in a minute. And he also plays a beggar in one of the small stories. Alan Bates plays a storyteller who shows or instructs Shahrazad on how to make a gripping tale work. I won't go through the other people's roles and everything, but James Frain's in it, Peter Guinness, Jason Lee Scott, John Leguizamo's in it. I hope it's the right pronunciation. Rufus Sewell's in it. And
you remember we talked about him in our last podcast.
He's in Dark City, and he was in that
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale. I got the movies mixed up here. He does get around, and he plays a good role, and he's quite good in this one actually. It's really hard to play a period piece like this, but and most of the people do quite well. And it's tongue-in-cheek. It's not strictly to the letter.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. It's a good, fun movie. I can't say too much before Sarah takes off and starts telling you the good bits. I think I'll leave it to her now. Actually, it was filmed on location, I believe. My little notes here, my little pack of goodies here. Locations. Arabian Nights was filmed on location in Turkey and Morocco. How's that? So they actually went there to get some realism happening, which is pretty good.
Very cool.
There's not too much in the way of critiques on it, but
Yeah.
a lot of people, the ones I've got, say it was good. Some people think it's a bit long, but it's a long. It's a miniseries.
Yeah,
Hello.
and bear in
Yeah,
mind, guys,
yeah.
if you actually sat and read about Arabian Nights
It's a long book.
tales, she didn't just do five. This has five stories in this.
Within the
If
story, yeah.
and if you actually read the book, you'll find that she told like 1,001 tales
Yeah.
in the
And there's
story.
only 5 of them.
Yeah.
Ha.
So it's shortened for this miniseries.
It is.
So be satisfied and be happy about it.
A miniseries could, is made because it is going to be long. It might be 3 hours or something rather. So, 1.5 hour shows, programs. So that's why it's a miniseries. So
Anyway,
it was too long. The people they don't know what they're talking about. It's a good thing, and I think it was long enough.
True.
It worked.
So
Anyway,
I'll talk about the story now.
without further ado, take it away, Sarah.
So the story begins where our Sultan is actually having horrible nightmares and is acting all mad and paranoid and stuff like that. And the Vizier Jafar,
Jafar, the vizier, yeah.
yeah.
Was
Eh,
it vizier or brazier? Oh, vizier, sorry.
Anyway, he doesn't know what to do because the only likely way you can deal with a person who's mad back then is lock them away until the madness
But he's a
ceases.
sultan, you
But
can't
he's
do
a
this.
sultan. You can't really lock someone away because they're of a royal lineage.
But there's a bit of a story behind his madness. He was married before, which will come out in the story, and his wife betrayed him, and he killed his wife accidentally, maybe on purpose, not
Yeah.
sure, when she was in the arms of her
His-
lover, which happens to be his brother. So, and I think he's been tormented by her death ever since that happened.
Yeah, ever since that happened.
So he
and
doesn't trust females now either, you
so,
see.
Yeah, so he figures that he can marry one of the harem girls in his harem and
And
not kill her off the next morning.
And well, there's a reason. He needs to get married again, otherwise he will lose the sultancy. So that's why he's had an impasse. Is that the right word? He has to make a decision. He has to get married. Doesn't want to get married for obvious reasons. So he has a plan. Get
Yeah.
married on a wedding night. Have a bit of rumpty bumpty. Ride the baloney pony and knock her off in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, Scheherazade hears this news from the harem, from the other girls, and they're all scared because they're worried that the Sultan would soon get a taste for killing all of them,
Yeah, bugger.
and that would really be very bad for them.
Bad habit. Yeah. And
And
habits are hard to break.
And Scheherazade, she had a bit of a past with this current Sultan.
Yeah, she knew him when he was a little boy, and they had
They were best
played
friends.
together when they were children and stuff. So she had a childhood crush on him, and now that's grown into an adult attraction. Is
Yes,
it? Yeah.
a one-sided one at the moment, but
Well, he doesn't trust anybody at the moment. He doesn't even remember it too much.
so she persuades her father, this vizier, to allow her to marry the Sultan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she comes up with an ideal plan for him to not knock her off the next morning. Meanwhile, while this is happening, his brother is planning on taking over the kingdom by force, if necessary.
He's going to lay siege upon the city. Yes.
Yes. So that night, after the wedding ceremony, yada yada yada, she sits down with him and she starts telling her the first few tales of hers. Well, and cutting off to when it gets
Yeah.
close to the morning, cutting
We're
off to
running
the
out of time. We have to continue it tonight.
to a bit of a giving it a cliffhanger.
I got a question.
Go on.
If she told stories all night, and in the morning he had to be a sultan and do his sultanly duties, when did he sleep?
Good point.
Aha!
Yeah, so the first story on the agenda was Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. And it was a pretty awesome story and has the, what's his name again?
Rivers?
Yeah, who plays
Phil, yeah.
Ali Baba. And it was a good story, slightly changes.
A little bit changed, but it was good. It was the traditional story about Ali Baba.
Yeah.
He follows this nasty criminal type guy who's got a secret cave, and he hears him Open the cave with the magic word. All together now.
Open
Open Saskatchewan. No, that's
Says
Bugs
me.
Bunny, isn't it? Sorry. Sesame. Yeah, okay.
Yes, so moving on. She gets to the cliffhanger bit, and the Sultan is a bit pissed that she's not continuing the story because he's really getting into the story.
And he wants to.
But he
Draw
then
in.
hires he asked personal executioner guy to kill her on the next morning, but he got the curiosity of the story got to him, and he says you'll tell me the rest of the story tonight.
So we'll just delay your departure from this world for another 24 hours.
Yes. Anyway, so she then tells the rest of the story the next night, and then she adds a bit of adds on for the next part to the story, a tale of the poor hunchback, which becomes an extension to the story.
The first story.
Yes.
Because she had some sort of segue where she joined the story into the previous story by they mentioned Alibaba got married to a girl, and the people in this story were the ones who made the dress for the bride in the previous story or something.
And this
rather.
hunchback I mentioned is a bit of a comedian for the Sultan, and it's a bit of a comedy story where he gets killed by
No, he doesn't get killed.
Oh, not
he
killed.
He goes to someone's place for dinner. The comedian is well known and the favourite of the local sultan or whatever he is. And he goes to someone's place for dinner. Mm-hmm. He always likes a free meal. And he chokes on a fish bone or something or other. Mm. And these people think, oh, he's a favourite of the sultan. If they think that we killed him or he died here, we might lose business. So they get the body and they take it
to the physician.
The doctor just down the road or next door or something rather, and leave him out the front there, knock on the door and say, oh, our friend's not very well, and they'll leave him there. And when the doctor comes out, he's a bit nearsighted, he falls over the dwarf, and they tumble downstairs, and he thinks he's killed him by the fall downstairs.
Yeah, and then
it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and then he and his wife take him to probably next door neighbour and shove him down a chimney.
And there's a Chinese guy in there, and he thinks this guy's come down there to rob him or something or other, and he's karate on him and different things, and then he said, oh, I've killed him out. Oh, you can't have him in there because I'm a foreigner here, and they might put me in jail, so I'll take him outside and leave him in the street somewhere.
Yeah, and then a drunk man gets approached by him, and
the body collapses on him, and he thinks he's being attacked again.
Yeah. And he hits him, and that's where he gets
and he gets caught for the killing the guy, and he goes to a trial, and they say you're going to be executed, and everyone feels ashamed and guilty and says, no, he didn't do it, I did it, and all these people start saying we killed the dwarf, or the hunchback or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, I did it, no, I did it.
And then the interesting thing is the Sultan appears and tells them that no one is guilty and how
it was an accident.
What
a wise man.
And he remarked that the hunchback thought this would have
been a funny way to go.
Yeah. So moving on.
Moving right along, folks.
So the next story that was added to this one is
Aladdin.
Now
we all know Aladdin.
Yeah, and Jason Scott Lee plays Aladdin in this one.
And actually, he plays a good role.
I like
Jason Scott Lee. He's played a lot of interesting roles.
Yeah, I think this one's one of his best interesting ones.
One of his best ones. He played Tarzan.
And the one thing I like about this one is it's pretty much follows the story to the actual. Well,
it's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. It wasn't overly done. And
Arabia.
And screwed over and everything. Actually, that's one thing Sarah and I have been talking about for years. The Arabian Nights tales, a lot of them didn't actually come from Arabia. They came from China and India and stuff. It didn't actually come from Arabia.
Well, no, I mean, Aladdin's story came from China.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But some of the others did too.
Yeah, same way I could say for The Thief of Baghdad was never an Arabian Nights tale either.
No. So, yeah, they've imported tales from other places.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
See, all the tales have been merged into Arabian Nights.
They would have the spice roads and the Silk Road, and all the tales would have been going up and down the spice road, the Silk Roads for the merchants and whatever. That's a collection of stories. That's all it is. Yeah.
True. So, as I said before, this is the accurate version of Aladdin because this one takes place in China and not Arabia, like so many have been
Yeah.
doing over the years. I cannot name
It's always
how
Arabia.
many versions I've seen that deal with Arabia with Aladdin.
Yeah.
Put the name
Oh, yes,
for the
remember that the
location.
contemporary Aladdin movie we've done, the Bollywood one?
Yeah.
That was done in China, or northern China,
Well, India was
or northern China bordering onto to India, that area. So they didn't do an Arabian version, did they?
Yes. So at this time, halfway through the story, the Sultan gets wind that his brother is going to siege on his kingdom.
Yes.
Yes. So he's
He
starting.
wants to take over by hook
Yeah.
or by crook.
Yeah, and this time the Sultan is starting to feel like he doesn't feel like the urge to hurt Scheherazade now. He
Yeah,
feels like he's
He feels like he needs a friend.
and he's enjoying the stories, and they often have a chalk between the throughout the story sometimes.
See, all the stories got a bit of a moral to them, and she's trying to teach him things to get through his madness and stuff. So,
Yes.
and I think she's gradually, but every night, just chipping away a little bit more and a little bit more.
At one
and
point when he nearly lashes out at her by taking a sword, and he kind of slashed it at the pillows, not
chops
her.
up his feathers. Yeah.
And he says that I think that deep down he doesn't want to kill her. Anyway, moving
Well,
on.
I
along.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
She's
so
a very pretty girl.
So the next
Yeah.
story is called The Sultan and the Beggar, and that's sort of slightly different from Prince and the Pauper, just so you know.
Yeah, and she said, and the beggar looked remarkably like you, and the Sultan looked a lot like your brother.
Yeah.
She said, oh, that's a fine way to start the story. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a beggar now, am I?
Yeah, and in this one, it deals with that Sultan in that story.
He was a mean guy.
He was a prankster, joker, and he's not serious about
and,
anything.
and no one liked him.
And he thought a good jest would be to put the beggar and make him the Sultan for a day.
Yeah, take you're going drunk, brought him in there. They dressed him up in fine clothes and everything, and then he woke up in the morning and everyone was told he is to be treated like the Sultan. It's a joke, and everyone came to the party and said, "Oh, Sultan." He said, "No, I'm a beggar." And after a day or two, was it?
After
couple days?
probably a day or two, he then started to think, I am the Sultan, and he decreed a few things like that
Really
could
good
make
things,
like making a few schools in the big cities,
Increasing the pay of the army and stuff,
and cutting costs in the palace.
stop
stuff
wastage.
Stop wastage.
All these good things, and that's one of the vizier on the way out said, or whatever. He said, "Hey, we haven't done as much work. We've done all, or something ever."
Meaning they got through a lot of stuff.
In one day.
In one day.
It was so good. I mean, the other guy just did nothing. He just same old, didn't care less.
Yeah, meaning he didn't really exactly establish what these people needed.
So the people in the court were starting to be impressed by the beggar who was pretending to be the Sultan.
And then the next day, after the Sultan completes his jest,
the Sultan gets annoyed with him, so he drugs him.
Yeah, he drugs him, and then he sends him back into the streets, and he's ranting and raving, saying he was a Sultan for a day.
So locking him up in the nut house, don't they?
And the Sultan wants to do the jest again for a second time to screw with his little man, the poor man further. And in his state, the beggar takes a sword from the general, and stabs it into a wall where he hears some laughter coming from it.
He forms a demon there.
And
it was actually the Sultan who was playing a trick on him.
Yeah, and he collapses with a smile on his face.
And the funny part is the guys, the vizier and the other guy, they didn't care that the Sultan was there because they didn't like him, and they thought, well, the beggar is a better Sultan than the Sultan was. So they said, we'll tell everybody the Sultan's gone away on a long holiday or something.
And left him in charge.
And left this guy in charge, and he carried on being the Sultan.
Yeah, and he went on to becoming the best Sultan in the area.
Exactly.
While the other one ceased to exist in anyone's
one cared
mind.
anyway. Yeah.
Yes. So this is where he and his army are starting to get their force in order, and as a final story, she then tells him about about a story about the three princes who have to go on long journeys, separate journeys, in order to find some rare
Because
artifacts.
their father, he said, "Well, I'm getting old, and one of you guys have to take over from me one day, and all I can see you guys arguing all the time will destroy my kingdom."
Yes.
So he wanted to send them on a quest to
Yeah.
bring back a special treasure.
This is
Yeah,
similar to when we did the Thief of Baghdad,
exactly, something similar to that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where he sent the three princes off to other areas
On
in
a
order.
quest.
Yeah, and these three items they pick up
Well,
are
pretty much
similar
similar,
to,
yeah.
except
One was a
for one of the things that was supposed to be a crystal was
Yes,
actually a telescope.
yeah, one was crystal you could look into, and the other one was a telescope you look through. Had the magic apple there to heal, and the flying carpet.
Yeah.
Aha! I wish I had a flying carpet. It was a moth-eaten rug though. They could have used a better rug.
I don't know. It was very. It's if it's old and ancient, then
Well,
there's something
it could have,
there.
yeah, it's still moth-eaten.
I thought that was pretty cool, and of course, just like in the other Thief of Baghdad, they get wind that their dad is
Is
dying.
really sick and dying. So they join forces and they come all of them get onto the magic carpet and they fly home to see mum and dad and they heal dad. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, the end, and they ruled the Baghdad with peace and yada yada.
And then when Sultan finally passed away, the three sons ruled ruled wisely, co-jointly, and their country prospered.
Yeah. So now now this is the fifth story, and our current sultan in the story, started realizing that he what he realizes that Scheherazade was doing something good for him and saved him from making the biggest mistake of his
Yeah,
life.
so he got over his madness a bit, and he said, "I'm going to lead my army into battle against my brother."
He then gets wind from some of his spies that the dead Sultana, she's sort of a good luck charm to the
Yeah, they got
to
her
him and
dead
his
body
wi-
there
his
lying
wife
in
and
state, and getting a bit green and smelly by now.
yeah. So his brother has her dead body, and
Necrophiliac.
the army considers her considers her good luck, and to raise the spirits of the Sultan's men, they Scheherazade suggests that she should ride in battle with her
A
husband,
live Sultana.
and of course some of the
Yes.
generals guys say this will raise the spirit of their men,
Yes.
making out that they have a live queen while they have a dead queen,
Yeah,
which will make a bit of a
Yeah, a
very
bit of a
lucky,
difference.
a big luckiness.
yeah.
So anyway, thanks to Scheherazade's stories, it inspires the Sultan to do a surprise attack on his enemy.
Yeah, so he made the first move in the battle. He didn't wait for his brother to come up there and lay
Yeah.
siege against his town
Yeah,
or city.
they
he
woke.
went out there.
Yeah, they
and
woke
attacked
really,
him.
really early and
Yeah.
started going in under the cover of dawn.
And knew some of the ideas that the Sultan got from Scheherazade in some of the tales, sneaking in like in Ali Baba the 40 Thieves snuck in, and jars of oil and stuff.
Yeah,
and they set fire to the camp, and people were sneaking around and then killing
Yeah,
people. It was a great fight. It was a really good battle. Yes.
Yeah, and they got them where they want them.
Yeah.
In the end,
By the short and curlies, folks.
eventually, Sultan kills his brother, and throughout this war, this moment, this siege, we hear Scheherazade telling a bit of a tale. Like she's telling another story, but to whom, we may ask.
And then she's laying down there. You see it pans or fades in, and she's there with two little children.
Yeah, before that gets down to it, we see the dead dead Sultana's body that's now, well, is probably gonna be buried. It would be compost now.
Compost, yeah.
And I like that moment where
Worm food.
Scheherazade and the Sultan, they kiss and hug, in the field of battle, and all that. And then we cut to her telling her kids about her two sons about the
Story
battle.
about the salt and stuff. So you start to wonder whether the whole movie was like a story within a story within a story sort of scenario, or was she just telling the tale of how she got married to her husband and how they battled against his evil brother? You really don't know.
Yeah.
It leaves your mind open to suggestion.
Yeah,
Yes.
anyway, they beg her for another story, and she says tomorrow night she'll tell them another story.
Yes, just like
The end,
yeah,
as I said.
and a lovely.
As I said, it's very brief, but other than that, the stories
Well,
within the stories are really
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, we could have gone in to each of those sub stories in a lot of detail, but what I will say about these type of movies, whether it's HBO or anybody else, it must be really hard to work the sets out and the props and the costumes. It would be a logistical nightmare. You just can't go down to a local shop and buy a couple of shirts, couple of suits, couple of dresses and stuff. It's all period stuff. It's got to be all made. If they haven't got stuff in the costumery area for this sort of thing, the props would be a nightmare. And then they've actually gone on location over to the Middle East to actually do it, Morocco and Turkey and stuff. I mean, it's to make a movie such as this, whether it's Arabian Nights or another period type film, it's a lot of work involved, and you got to give the guys credit for the hard yards. What do you reckon?
Great.
Yeah.
I did think it was cool, especially how she meets the storyteller who explains how to hold your audience with the
He
story.
explained the intricate ways of telling a story and getting the people sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for the next line or the next sentence, or
Yeah.
and in her case, the next installment tomorrow night.
Yeah. I thought it was
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's just like if you were watching a TV show and you get to the cliffhanger ending and
Stay tuned
then you
for
have
shorts for tomorrow. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and then you have to wait either the next morning or next week to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it.
I hate that ones only on once a week. That's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. So wait a
Same.
week, and if you don't see the one next week, you lose it.
Yeah.
Shame.
I hate when that happens.
It's not like Rose Red. Now, Rose Red was a miniseries. That was a 3-parter.
Yeah.
And I think it was an hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half. I think so. You're looking at 4.5 hours worth of filming. If you lost one, if you couldn't see one of those, it'd ruin the whole story.
Agree.
Yeah.
But you gotta admit though, I do like. I remember when I was in school and that teacher would read us from a book, and when we get to the really good chapter, she stops because we had no time to read it all. That's what it was like for me when I was little. We would often read either like one of what's his name, Ronald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Yeah, Roald Dahl's.
Yeah.
We used to read some of his books, and when we got to a really interesting part, then that's
We'll leave the rest for another day. Oh, yeah.
and then we all say, "Oh, what? I
Oh,
want to
okay.
read the rest."
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not like Goldilocks the Three Bears. And the bears walked in the bedroom. We'll read the rest of the story another day. What do you mean? So the little girl lying in the bed. 3 bears are going to walk in there and what? You're going to eat her? Play Scrabble?
Yeah.
Dance with her? What are they going to do?
Yeah, and it's a little hard to take in when you're reading a book like that.
Especially
Or
for
not like
children.
that. I mean, I remember we always got into a tizzer when we either stopped watching or reading a book, like from a teacher. Sometimes it's not a book. Sometimes it's actually a movie or a cartoon we're watching, and then they stop at the most important part, and then we then stop there.
But no.
And I don't know when the next time we get to watch it.
Yeah, that's a bit rude. Yeah.
And I don't even know if the teacher will remember reading it or watching
And that's
the
why
rest.
kids get really annoyed at the teachers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I always got that, and it annoyed me to bits.
Anyway, let's get back onto what we're reviewing.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you want to say about any of it? The actors or
Well,
the production or yeah.
I did think it was kind of cool, especially how let me see, the interesting magic part of Aladdin was pretty cool, especially the part where
Oh,
he
yeah,
has sort of a battle of magic
Yeah,
with,
two genies.
with the genies.
Yeah, he had a ring genie on his finger,
Yes,
and there's also the genie in the lamp, who was supposed to be more powerful.
yeah, and they have sort of a lot like the. If have you guys seen the Sword in the Stone, the Disney
Yeah, the
version?
Disney one, yeah, where they had a battle and they kept changing into animals and whatever, and same sort of thing.
Same sort of thing.
Yeah. There's a mouse and there's a cat, there's a dog, and and there's an elephant, and then the other one turned into a mouse and scared the elephant. That sort of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
I thought the Ring Genie was very funny, very comedy-istic,
Yeah, that John Legar was. Oh, I can't say his last name.
but he's hilarious.
Legarzamo or something like that. He's a funny guy. But he played that role, and he played the other genie, which was, I think, more. It looked like more of an animated Jimmy Hansen, something or other. He did the voiceover. It didn't look anything like the other guys. I'd say, yeah, it's he did the voice for that one, but he did the physical role for the Ring Genie. But it's really good. He was fighting himself.
Very cool.
I don't know how to do that. Yeah.
I did think it was amusing that,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that at the end of that story, the Ring Genie was set free, but the other genie says, "Fuck that! I'm not gonna."
He didn't say F that. He didn't say that.
Okay, sorry, I swear. Okay,
He said, I don't want to be set free because if I set free, I'll lose all my power. I want to be a powerful genie. I don't want to be a free man with no power. But he's a prisoner in a lamp. What a dickhead. Well, he is.
well, he says he'll decide when he wants to be free or
that
not.
happened in the cartoon version of that let him go at the end.
Yeah,
Make a wish. So, I want something. No,
Yeah.
not getting it. Go away. Bye. Yeah, it's really funny. But
Incidentally, I was thinking this week that maybe not now or maybe not later on, but sometime in the future we might do a review with the new Aladdin that came out in 2019.
Which was that one?
The one that Disney's made themselves.
Have I seen that one? Yeah, I don't.
I don't think you have.
It doesn't ring a bell.
And
No, yeah.
of course,
I didn't think I had.
that's a sort of adaptation from the cartoon version that they made, say back
The
years.
Robin Williams one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With Will Smith in it, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Will Smith.
If you're familiar with that.
Okay.
I
There
said
you go.
we might, maybe
Right.
not now, but
Why don't we do
because
the Bollywood one?
we might.
Hey, that'd be different, folks. Bollywood.
Again, I'm not gonna. As I said in the past, we're not gonna make this into a theme.
No, but every couple of months we bung one in or something or other. Yeah,
Because-
it's like a religious one. There's no reason why we can't do religious epic like a Cecil B. DeMille job or something or other. I mean, we're not peddling religion here. We're peddling reviewing good movies. And Cecil B. DeMille made some beautiful biblical epics.
He did.
Yeah, he did what? We know he did the Ten Commandments. Did he do Ben-Hur? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But those big epics, I mean, they're great movies. I mean,
I know he did. I think. What's it called? Samson Delilah. I
Did he?
think. Yeah.
okay, yeah, maybe.
I think.
I'll have to check, but I know Cecil made the Ten Commandments, and that always has blown me away. That's the filming, the sets, the acting. I mean, it brings you into it, and it makes you feel like it's real. I know
Agreed.
it's a movie, but you feel like it's real. You're watching real people, and it's really groovy. Yeah, I like it.
Quite right. Anyway,
work involved.
I do like the fact that in this movie that I did like the fact that I did like the chemistry between Scheherazade and the Sultan. It was
Actually-
nice, and I like the fact he started warming up to the fact she's a
did.
nice lady and she's not there to hurt him.
And yeah, not there to hurt him, but to support him.
Yeah, in the original story, I read the actual original Arabian Nights tales, and the real story of why his wife, what happened to his first wife. See, she lowered her veil for someone that's not her husband, and you know the rules against of other men seeing your wife's face, which is a very big rule
Well,
in the
see,
Middle
that's
East.
that. Well, yeah, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it's pretty
it's a very
strange. Yeah,
big
strange world over there.
it's
Yeah.
a big rule over there, and do not let your wife show her face to other men, which is a big
I,
no-no.
I know. I've often wondered why. I mean, I can understand showing an ankle, bit of skin, yeah, yeah, flash of a boob, but lifting a veil? No, I'm just
don't go
saying,
that
but
far.
just taking a lifting the veil. That's my face. I have two eyes, the nose, the mouth under here, and I just can't see
Well,
it.
it's mostly
Yeah,
all that part of
yeah, no, I
is
just can't see
covered,
the.
and it
I
should.
mean, I think somewhere in the Bible or something, there's something about a woman's hair. A woman's hair was a temptation. So yeah, I can understand. Okay, keep your hair covered. Okay, have one of those a veil or something around your hair, so
Yeah.
essentially they can't see your hair,
Yeah.
and no makeup and stuff. I can understand that, but having
Any
a veil over your face so no one can see you at all.
Anywho, as I was saying,
Okay, sorry.
so he killed her, and unlike in this story, he does marry each of one of these the harem woman in his harem,
You
and
dirty bugger.
and of course the next day knocks him off and kills him. And when he ran out of harem girls, he then decides to have one of his vizier's daughters for his wife, and it's lucky that he went with Scheherazade, because I don't know what would have happened if he went for her younger sister.
Well, she would have been dead probably. Yeah,
Luckily, Scheherazade was a bit more
she's a
fast,
smart girl.
smart girl.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of the story, when way to the end, when she had no more stories to tell, she tells the Sultan, that she's heavily pregnant and she doesn't want him to kill her and their baby. And
Oh,
he
isn't that
then
lovely?
gets one of his subscribes to write down all the stories she has told him, so they're not forgotten. Kept them in a very big book, all that stuff, and keep on record.
1001 Arabian. Ooh.
So, he agrees that he won't hurt her because he loves her dearly, and he doesn't want anything happen to him.
Exactly. Isn't that lovely?
So that's what I read in the story. So I know. I'm actually,
So was there exactly 1001 stories in the book?
yeah,
Really? Mm-hmm. That must be a big book.
no doubt. And imagine it was like, say, 1001
One
nights.
Tales. Bugs Bunny did that too.
Only different.
1001 Rabbit Tales or something or other. Yeah, I think
Don't
it's
go.
called.
Yeah, but only he didn't do
Was he selling?
1001
Was he selling books from door to door or something or
Yes.
other? And somebody was a sultan or something or an
Yeah.
oil seeker. Yeah.
Again,
was funny.
that didn't deal
Yeah.
with 1001 tales,
No,
whatever.
but
It made for a good story.
Made a good story. Yeah, I love Bugs Bunny.
Anyway, should we rate this movie? Because I can't think of anything else
Yeah,
to say.
otherwise we dissect every story within a story and we'll be here all night. I can't think of anything else to say.
Me neither.
But like I said, miniseries.
Only I know that
Yeah.
one of the actors, his name's Jamie,
Callis.
yeah, who played one of the princes in The Tale. This was his first movie at
Oh,
the
okay.
time, so, and all that stuff.
There you go. Anyway,
But
yeah,
anyway, that's all I can think
well, I
of.
was going to say, you asked me. So, I mean, when you do a miniseries, it's like a TV series. I mean, it's a different style of filming, and it's somewhere between TV and film. So, yeah, I think it's good. HBO make a good product. The actors are good, scenery's good, sets are good, blah 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 blah. Everything is great. And it went on location to film it. That again, that would cost a lot of money, but it gives you a sense of reality. So yeah, I'm going to have to give it. 9.5. I'll leave 5% off. Yeah, 0.5% off because there's a little bit of room for improvement here and there, but basically it's a good movie.
I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 myself.
Okay, so 9 and 9.5. That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so it does make for an interesting story to watch, and it's kind of a great fantasy to get into.
Yeah, well, that's the point. I mean, fantasies are good, but you look at the old fantasies like that, and you look at a James Bond movie, which is fiction.
Yeah.
There's not much difference. I mean, obviously, one's modern, one's not modern. But
Right.
when you think about it, fiction is fantasy, and fantasy is just fiction. So, yeah, there are crossover periods, but there's just more weird stuff in fantasy. And yeah, I like fiction, and especially science fiction. Especially the stuff you can do with science fiction nowadays, for the computer generated stuff, and yeah, really good. But yeah, I mean, I do like fantasy for that because it takes you away to somewhere weird in many cases. Wait, what's the weirdest one we've seen,
I'm thinking,
fantasy wise? Labyrinth?
I'm thinking. I think either Labyrinth would
Labyrinth?
be a good
Yeah,
example.
that's had really, really weird. Some of it looks like it's even on stage and stuff. It just looks really good. It works great. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fantasy's fine. You say, well, you say, well, it might be on stage or something's different there. I don't like that part. But remember, it's not reality. It's not real. There's no real reference points. So yeah, it's good fun. Anyway, I'm finished. I got nothing more to talk about.
Yeah, so that's about it for us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this review.
Tell you what, it is worth a watch. I didn't see whether it's available on Amazon or eBay, but it probably is. That's where we got it from.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
little while back, probably, but yeah, it's good value.
So this is about it for us tonight. So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Michael,
saying we'll see you guys for the next one. Okay?
exactly.
Bye for now.
Bye. Movie like that, and you look at the old fantasies, but